Hello, this is The Art of Tarot, and my name is Sasha, and I'm here to give you your daily tarot reading for August 5th, 2024. I recently had COVID, and for that reason, I was unable to do readings the past week, but that time has given me a lot to contemplate on. I felt the need to consider my relationship with tarot, which is an ever-evolving one that flows alongside my own personal evolution. I've been thinking of how to provide a service to those listening that I feel is beneficial and healthy for personal growth and contemplation. I have always felt inclined all these years of tarot reading to utilize the cards for self-care, acceptance, and growth above everything else. I want to understand myself better and align with what is dearest to me. Therefore, these readings will specifically focus on these intentions, and I welcome those interested to listen. I decided to try something different this week since I'm still recovering from COVID and still need rest. I decided to do a week of reading and asking higher power in what we can contemplate and introspect on. I also want to remind you, it is advisable to pause the video, see how the cards make you feel, listen to the message, utilize your intuition, and see how the card feels in your personal life. Since these aren't personal readings, I think this is a very important thing because it not only strengthens your relationship with your own intuition, but that is the whole point. For you to get these messages and to be honest and ask yourself these questions. And I think that the card for today, the Ace of Cups, which is a great card, really echoes that message. The Ace of Cups signifies new emotional beginnings, self-love, and spiritual awakening. Cups represent carrying the emotional waters in our lives. But they can also speak of receptivity, since cups receive the water. One of my favorite tarot readers who shares many of my personal views and beliefs about the art of tarot is Jessica Duray. Her wonderful book, Tarot for Change, speaks of this receptivity, specifically with the Ace of Cups. And it talks about in what relational way can we engage with our surroundings. What we feel and experience in our bodies is not always rooted in the private experience, but comes from the ecosystem we belong to. What is that ecosystem? It's our surroundings. So ask yourself how this would change how we move through the environments we dwell in, and how it would change the way we relate to our experiences. And for better understanding, what she uses is a metaphor of seeing ourselves walking through redwoods and seeing ourselves as being a wave of rippling energy within those redwoods. Feeling what energy is ours, what is of the others, and how we affect one another. So instead of viewing of how an experience will be for us, it's more of how us being in that experience, our energy, intermixed with everything else going on in that experience would be like. And I hope that kind of clarifies that. When I look at the Ace of Cups and I observe the chalice, I see the Holy Grail, which to me is symbolic of us, of our bodies. We receive the guidance of the Holy Spirit, which is represented by the dove, through the wafer, which symbolizes spiritual nourishment and communion with the divine. And the chalice represents us, the sacred vessel, container of the emotions of life and spiritual guidance. With all this being said, we are all connected. So take the time to be curious about this new beginning. Ask questions to your inner guidance. Listen and be receptive. And this is the key to attaining the holy, aligned guidance one seeks. We rarely ask our higher power directly and get quiet enough to listen through contemplation. And I want to remind you that contemplation isn't thinking, because it's very easy to mix that up. Sometimes we think we have to start going into our mental, jungle gym of, should I do this? Should I do that? It's much more of a creative process involving getting quiet enough to listen to our intuition and emotions. And that's where we find those deep, necessary truths. And sometimes we don't want to see that. So you have to be very honest with yourself. I know it's easy to get heady when we are met with the opportunity of a new emotional beginning, whether that be relational, purposeful, or any sort of emotional beginning. I find myself wanting to remind you that to stop rumination and overthinking, it usually comes from an unconscious fear that there are rules about who you are, who you're supposed to be, and what you are supposed to do. If you want to release this, get into your body, experience freedom and liberation, focus on what resonates with you and what gives you energy, rather than what your thinking mind is telling you you're supposed to do and feel. I recently saw a fantastic video of this guy talking about this specifically, and I'm not quite sure what his name was. It was very late at night, and I will be paraphrasing, but it resonated deeply with me, and it really has to do with this message. Design your life by asking 2 questions, he said. Does this give me energy, or does this deplete me? It's easy to lie to ourselves, since there can be layers to truth depending on one's courage. Therefore, be extremely honest with yourself when asking these questions, and that is essential. As reminded by the Ace of Cups, if you are courageous enough, the answers are there, not in a thinking way, but through one's emotions and deep, intuitive knowings. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I feel like I have to remind you one more time, do more of what gives you the energy and be guided by that, and you will live an abundant life with exponential energetic returns. Once your mind trusts that you can operate in this manner, it will no longer cling fearfully, and the overthinking will subside. Much love, and let's start practicing this. I definitely need this as well, so have a great day, and I look forward to tomorrow. Bye-bye.